be discussing the dynamics of relationships. More specifically, why do relationships reach to the level of it being toxic? So some examples of toxicity could be a guy being extremely controlling as to what a woman will wear, what time she comes back home, what she has to cook, or even to the point of one partner raising their hands on another. Other examples could literally be being verbally abusive all the time, and the woman not wanting to go and come back, or either partner not wanting to leave the relationship after it is so negative to the obvious person. So I'm just very, very interested in knowing what you guys yourself consider toxic and what level it should be capped at. So to me, I don't necessarily think like the possessiveness, the controlling is toxic, because to me it's a point of care. It's a point of saying that, oh, I want you to be safe, I want you to look good, I don't want other people to look at you and take you away from me, so I want you to be protective within my space. You are my project, you are what I want. So by me telling my partner that I don't want him to dress like this, I don't want him to go out this past late, it's just me telling them that, oh, you're mine. So for me, I don't consider that aspect of speaking to your partner about what you want or what you don't want toxic.
Can I come in?
Of course.
Okay. All right. I understand where you're coming from. You know, we all think different ways. When it comes to relationship, it's both ways. You had your life before I come into your life. If I'm meeting a girl, there's a way she was living a life before I actually approached her, or before I actually crawl into her life. Let me see it that way. She's got a dress code, she's got everything. I dress my own type of way before even I approached her. If there's anything I will have to do in that relationship, my own opinion, in my opinion, if there's anything I have to introduce to her when it comes to her dress code or some stuff that I think she shouldn't be doing or be doing, I will come in gently. If there's a way she dresses, if she's a girl that I met, when I met her, she used to dress like skimpy stuff and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So if I'm coming into that relationship, there has to be a way I will put it to her very gently. I'm not just gonna cut her and be like, no, you can't wear that. Yeah, that's where you're gonna clash. Because one day, you might be saying that all the time. You might be like, oh, I don't like the way you dress, but you don't like how she dressed. So why did you actually approach her in the first place if you don't like the way she dressed or the way he dressed? Because that should be one of the things that actually get you attracted to that person in the first place. Yeah. Looks goes a very long way as well, and how people dress.
But you're contradicting yourself though, because if you see me and let's say I was very crop top, short trousers, and you like that, there's no need, it doesn't matter how you approach it to talk to me about it. That's what initially attracted to you. So there's no need even trying to change that. So it doesn't matter how you say it.
The question is, when does it become toxic?
Yes.
So we said like, okay, a boyfriend, let me just use a boyfriend and a girlfriend, right?
Controlling.
A boyfriend is saying, I don't like the way you dress. Yeah. The girl might be like, okay, yeah, maybe he's doing it because of care. So when does that care cross that line? And then the lady starts saying, this is too much. You're becoming controlling. That's when it starts becoming toxic.
The word controlling, to me, shouldn't be used in the context of care. Because one of the problems I've also discovered about a relationship is a woman trying to turn a man to become a woman, and a man too trying to turn a woman to become a man. That is a major problem. The way I see relationship is partnership, where everyone comes in with one thing or the other to make relationship work. But when you feel that this person should be able to look exactly like this for me, to me, it's selfish, because the word love is sacrificial. you sacrifice something for something. So I don't want us to use the word, because in fact that controlling is the beginning of toxic, what am I going to call it now?
Toxicity.
Yeah, toxic in relationship, because everybody is trying to control this person. A woman is trying to control the man to think like her. A man is trying to control her to think like him. A woman and a man cannot think the same way. Biologically, the way they are being wired is different. So I feel everybody should be left alone to express themselves, and at the end of the day come to the round table and say, okay, going forward. I told someone sometimes ago, I said the word relationship is just like you as a person. You've lived a life for 25 years, for 30 years before you finally meet a person. And then the person also have lived their life. It's like you are having two different constitutions, and you are in a particular home, and you want the home to work well. Everybody has to drop their own constitution and rewrite a new constitution for that family. That is how it can work.
Right. So there has to be, like Dayo was saying earlier, there has to be that understanding. Even if you don't want her to dress that way, you have to kind of explain. It has to be gently. For example, if you see it from a religious point of view and say, oh, as a good Christian or as a good Muslim, you shouldn't dress like this, right? But you've seen her before that time, you've actually seen her dressing that way. So you need to kind of it's more of like preaching to her to say, stop doing this. But you have to be very careful. There's a thin line between being caring and being too caring and being toxic.
So it's looking like now, it looks like we're talking about two things. So toxicness are now controlling. Or are you saying controlling is also
It's an
toxicness?
aspect of toxicity,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah. But I was saying that it isn't. When you I was mainly on the point of when you constantly tell someone that, oh, they shouldn't do this or they shouldn't do that, it's not because, I know it's repetitive, but it's not because you hate them or you're being toxic in that sense. It's just because you want them to be a certain way, your vision. That's why people pursue someone. You have a preference.
Do you know
and
you
by
can't
doing
change
that,
people? Really, people change when they are ready to change. So you can tell me as much as possible. When I'm ready, I say, okay, fine, I think it's time. Now, the other person, if you're pushing too much, it gets to that stage whereby, I told you yesterday, I told you today, now you keep doing this thing, and they start hitting. That's when it crosses that line. So no matter what, right, if someone is not doing what you want them to do, or what you want them to do, you either step back, walk out, don't ever raise your hand on anyone. When it gets to that point whereby it becomes a toxic, because we know what a toxic relationship can lead into. It can lead into depression, people even committing suicide, people not being themselves. There are a lot of real life experience I can bring in here. Not from my side, but from people that I can see.
I genuinely feel like people mistake one's desire, what you like, for toxicity. And I genuinely believe that people live in this abstract fantasy world. I like what I like. I go for what I like. And my fellow brothers here mentioned that you've lived 25, 30 years of your life without someone else. And it's very hard to change based off just a simple conversation. At the beginning of every relationship, people want to portray a certain image. They want to accept because they want the other person. So they're going to say yes, yes, yes to most things, most often. And when you enter a relationship, the reality of it is different. It's hard to unravel 25 years of what you want and what you like for another person. So I believe that saying what you want repeatedly to someone, it shouldn't be classed as toxic. It should just reinforce who you are, your character, your personality, and that should not be branded as you being a toxic person. And I would say, if you bring like cheese here, I'm not going to eat it. I hate it. I'm not, even if you like, you can change it as, but if someone I like comes and tells me, oh, do you like this? I'm gonna say yes. Why? Because I want you. So most often people forget that the reality is different from fantasy or what they sit and dream about. That's why same thing comes to love. People say love, you have to sacrifice, you have to compromise. Yes. But at the end of the day, in as much as you love another person, you should be selfless. You should love yourself and appreciate your own worth and what you want. At the same time, obviously, loving another person is good, but don't forget that you are your number one person. You are the one who have to be in that relationship for time. And accepting and compromising or coming to terms with another person for a long period of time could do away with your identity. That's why I always say, before you even get into that relationship, brand yourself, know who you are, so that when you continue repeating those same things in a relationship, you shouldn't be the person should already know that that's who you are. And I don't regard that as toxic at all. So again, when it comes to the physical side of things, when you lay your hands on someone, that's completely different. But I'm talking about the emotional side. I'm a career woman. I'm not going to get jealous if my husband is telling me, because I understand you don't want to feel small. That just means that he wants to be bigger than who he is. If he's trying to withhold me, or he's trying to say certain things because I'm working more than him, or I'm earning more than him, it's understandable. I shouldn't brand his insecurity as toxic. I should just say it as a call for help, a call for progression, and rather help him rather than saying that he's toxic or want to move out of that relationship. Because relationships is not easy. You have to climb a mountain, Mount Everest, before you even before the calm. So I just feel like most people misuse that word toxic, and they say controlling and timing is toxic, but I genuinely don't feel like it is. So we really need to be careful.
So like she mentioned that, the ladies that have lived a long time, maybe 30 years, 40 years on her own, she has a default way of thinking. The man has lived his own ways for long years and has a default way of thinking. So, and I think most times when two people come together with their two different default ways of thinking, there will be a clash, and the couple needs to talk about it. So what happens is, we think these things happen by magic, or we just understand each other because we love each other. But when you don't talk about, we're different. Number one, we're different. So how can we now be indifferent? Or can we be compatible? If we're not compatible, bye. But if we can be compatible, like he said, get a new constitution. So do you agree with this constitution? Do you agree with this constitution? Does it work with you? If it doesn't work with you, I don't think people should be together.
To be honest, I don't think there's a blueprint as to how to run a relationship. It's very dynamic. So probably if we use the word constitution, like having that rule book or how we live it, we probably have to still leave it kind of open-ended in a way. Mm-hmm. It's that understanding that really matters. However, taking it back to the toxic part of the whole thing, right? A lot of relationships, the reason why it gets to that stage is insecurity, especially in the Western world here. I know it happens in Nigeria a lot. A lot of women are doing better than their husbands. Probably doing their jobs, they get faster promotions at work and all that. Now, the husband might start feeling insecure and start thinking, oh, she's going to do this, she's going to do that. Then he starts becoming very difficult, right? It could be that the wife is the one that is feeling, oh, I earn more money now.
Yeah.
Then, you are nothing to me. I've got nothing to gain from you anymore. I should talk to you anyhow. So then that relationship moves into that toxic. Now, the toxic part of it doesn't even have to do with the physical part. Emotional, yeah. You don't talk to your wife, you come home, you walk in, you don't talk to or your wife comes on, she doesn't even regard you as a husband, right? Talks down on you. Emotionally, you're drained. You can get into depression, you can get into different things, probably trying to make money quickly. So I see toxic relationship, I say in different ways, it could lead to physical hitting as well.
I think, you make a bigger point there, because so many relationships are toxic just because of how the man has changed due to the circumstances around him has changed to be has changed, like adding more wealth to the wealth he's got, or from the woman's side as well, because I've seen something like that before. That I've been into. Let me say I've been into a situation before that I had. I was living with somebody that I was seeing. You know, we were young. I was like maybe 18, 19 them time. And but she's got her own home because she had a daughter and that, and she was living on her own in London, living just behind her mom and that. And I realized that I was living with her, and mine is to wake up in the morning, go to work, and go back home. And I think she found me very attractive. She found me kind of like maybe other girls who try to talk to, because there's a lot of girls them time. Yeah, try to. There are a lot of girls there. I was younger. I was young, so yeah, they wanted to, they want to talk. In London, they don't care. Like you said, if you're single, London is the best place to live at a time. Like so yeah, they were like, oh, D, what's up? How are you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. She don't like that. Even them saying hi, she don't like it. And it starts with, oh, you can't do this. You can't do this. You have to be home this time. Like 7. Once I finish work, 5. I only have like an extra 2 hours.
Was there trust in that relationship?
Me, I trusted her. I had no problem. Mine is I had no problem. But the day the trust left me, was when I was working. So all the things she was telling me not to do, I stopped doing them, because I was like, man, I don't want to ask you. Will I go back to my dad to go stay with my dad? Nah, I'm just gonna stay here. I love it down here because it's closer to everything. Okay, cool. Then I stopped doing them things, and I realized one time we're walking in the park, and a girl was looking at me, a mixed race. A girl was looking at me. She was beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. And I looked back at her and I smiled, like, just smile. It's not like I wanted anything. She smiled at me. She smiled.
Are you saying that is a small thing? That's a big one. Yeah, I think he deserved a slap. And I'll say why. Because there has to be a respect. I think the woman is trying to mark her territory, to say, this is what I can take, and this is what I wouldn't take. Yeah, maybe slapping is actually going too far, because you shouldn't raise your hand on anyone. So saying he deserves a slap, actually, I'm only joking about that. However, for a man to, see a beautiful woman coming and you're with your woman, and you have that, there are different stages to that. You've got the eye contact, after eye contact, the smile, and she smiles back at you. Well, come on, any woman you're with is going to be jealous, right? So that's why I think my own cut for that is. However, generally within relationships, that insecurity is a key part that plays, and you need to define within that relationship what you will accept within. For example, the both of you come together and say, okay, make sure you always discuss before you go to bed. Discuss any issues throughout the day before you go to bed, as well as when things happen, immediately try and just be patient, and don't overreact.
But somebody can't give you a smile, and you would reply back, your response back with your face is gonna be like, you're just gonna be frowning. No, it don't work like that. Oh. That's why that's part of kindness and being human. So that day she looked at me and she smiled, and I just looked at her. She's beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. You won't deny a beauty if you see a beauty. It's just like appreciating somebody. She appreciated the kind of person that I am, because I was working with somebody, but yeah, she still appreciate me. So I appreciate her just the same way.
I think we all need to, before anybody going into a relationship or going to marriage or anything serious, you need to know who you are. You understand what makes you you, what do you like, what don't you like. Some people might, it's just an example of someone liking African food and you are with an English person, you understand, it would not work unless you're able to get your own pot yourself and you can get to the kitchen and do stuff yourself. So understanding who you are, your partner understanding who they are, and not pretending about it from the beginning is better for a relationship to crash than a marriage to crash. So you understanding yourself before you will get into the marriage, get into the serious relationship is quite important, and see if you're compatible. If you're not compatible, it's okay. Because I've seen two good people get together to get married. They were fantastic good people, but they were not compatible because of so many things in which they come from the background as their default background, their default experience. But it just didn't work for that way. Let them go. Let it flow. But if you now want to start forcing it, I think that's when you start getting to toxicity. You want me to be like your ex-girlfriend. You want me to be like your mother, or you want me to be your father. You want me to be like your ex-boyfriend. It won't really work, and it start bringing friction in the relationship. And I don't think that those kind of relationships should go further into marriage.
But if a very attractive guy had done the same to your wife, how would you have felt?
I've walked with my baby mom few times. That guys will look at her and just like, you know, I've been somewhere with
Well, has she turned around and smiled back and, you know, like that?
She smiled, but what can I do? Listen, one thing you need to realize when it comes to women, this is a Western world. You see, the mentality with we back in Africa or any other country, like around the world, is different when it comes to Western. You know? Wait. I will categorize it, sorry. Over here, women got many rights. Over in Africa, person go look your woman. The next thing you look and say, be like, say you the mad, Abby. You they smile about, then they smile. You said they smile. No, am I right? Yeah, it happens. But over here, you can't do that. And perhaps, I'm going to put it this way, yeah? If a woman or a man is going to do anything, they will do it.
No, the point the reason why I'm asking those questions, there has to be this element of respect.
I don't have any...
No, it's respect. I see it as respect, right? If I'm with my woman, to be honest, you can be Miss wherever it is, right? If you pass, even if I'm looking at her, I'm not going to look at her like in a way
no, you look
that woman will know I'm looking,
you know?
Right? Talk more of actually having that two-way conversation, non-verbal conversation. That is, I find that could be disrespectful to my wife.
Okay,
if she does the same.
But can I quickly break you on something? So, because I've not finished. Sorry, I want to make sure I get to the bottom of this. Sorry, guys. Do you know, I'm one dude, yeah? I like a nice ass. I'm not gonna lie. I like when a woman is got a very beautiful ass. I'm one dude like that. And do you know that sometimes when I'm driving, my baby mom will even show me some. Look at her ass. My girlfriend, she's gonna say, look at her ass. Because she knows say I like yansh. I not deny him. I not pretend. She knows say it doesn't mean I want that yansh. But I like good yansh. I appreciate good yansh. That's my kind of person. You know what I mean? And so the guy came and shook her hand like that. Ah, you're right. Something. And I saw her, she just look at the guy, smile like that, and she just do like that.
Okay, like sometimes getting a reaction from your partner can even be best. I think that could happen to you. Because sometimes women could be resentful. They don't talk about it. And I think that is where the danger is, you know, because, and many women are like that. You do something wrong, you look at another woman, she pretends she didn't see it. That day goes. Another day comes. It starts storing. It's like there's two buckets. The good bucket and the bad bucket, in which when you start doing stuff, it gets to the bad bucket. And there will be a time the bad bucket gets full. And that is when you see the multi reactions. And that's sometimes when you now see full breakup. That's when you now see divorces. So most times it's always good when to possibly be able to accept reaction and have a better communication with that reaction than just letting them be resentful. So when your lady is not even talking about some of the things you do, know that she might be resentful about it and quickly find a way to communicate so that issue can be solved, because it's going to the bucket till it gets full and you just don't know what you might get after that.